Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and along with me this week I have Ben.
Hello.
And Eddie.
Hello.
And that's it. Eddie, I mean, good effort making it here, seeing as you're a lot busier than Kirk, and Kirk has not shown up.
Yeah. I tried to cancel. I even tried to cancel a week in advance, and Ben accepted said postponement, and then 2 days before, actually, Eddie, we could move it. Oh,
that's
okay.
so true, actually. Eddie said, yeah, I don't think I can be on Monday. I went, yeah, that's fine, mate. Yeah, no problem. A couple of days later, Eddie, you've got to be on. It's on Tuesday instead.
Right, fine. And then, of course, that little message today came up. Hey, guys. There it is.
What I liked was the tone of it, is in like, you don't really need me today, do you? Okay, right, that's one way of putting it, mate.
It's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all, yes, he's completely superfluous. But this week, we are, of course, going through the news and the new releases. There's quite a lot in the new releases. I did put on the document that it was stacked, but I feel that implies there's good games in this. So
that implies something very different to...
Let's just say there's quite a lot. Then, of course, in our what we've been playing section, we have more Starfield. A lot more Starfield, because I think it's pretty much what all of us have been playing now.
Yeah, but my first take. There you go.
Mine as well, because I missed last week.
Oh,
yeah, it's both of your first takes. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
although I knew your take because I saw it in the doc, so I don't know.
Yes, that's true. That is true. I did give you some notes to work from.
Listeners will episode. There you go.
Exactly. And our feature this week is what we're going to be playing, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we looked at a way to do how we're going to fit in the big games coming out before the end of the year. And we'll be discussing that at the end, basically. Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to.
Good job.
But before that, shall we kick off with the news?
Yes, so quick news. Horizon Forbidden West is getting a complete edition. So this was revealed by the Singapore's ratings board. If you haven't played Forbidden West and therefore haven't played the DLC and you want to buy it as a complete package, it looks like it's on the way.
Indeed.
Football Manager will release on the 6th of November, again on Game Pass, so that's good for us, Eddie. And a mobile version will be available via Netflix, supposedly. You know, Netflix getting them games.
Yeah,
I mean, I have no idea how to access that. I mean, presumably just
They're
on the
on the
mobile
app.
phones.
You get them on the app.
I imagine you just look for it and it would be quite simple.
And there's some actually, you know what? The list on the app is getting bigger and better. I'm telling you right now. You
said Oxenfree 2, didn't you?
Yeah. I might even get the WrestleQuest on there. I might get the misses into that. Yeah,
WrestleQuest is on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh shit! That's
honestly, there was another game this week that I saw. I can't remember it, but then it was big enough for me to go, fuck, that's on here as well. Yeah, it's getting bigger and better.
Fair one. Okay, cool. X Defiant, that's been delayed until probably October due to console certification issues. I don't know what that means, but that's what it's been delayed for.
Does sound very weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the shooter that most modern multiplayer pre-battle royale first-person shooter fans will be looking forward to, and it's free to play.
That was a
sentence, wasn't it? That was a beast. But yes, Ubisoft look like they've got a hit on their hands if they can handle the live service stuff and the fan base, because they've had some beta tests and they've gone really, really well. So I expect this game to do really, really well.
Right, just before we move on from that, console certification, isn't that like going gold, going platinum, etc.? Like just showing
going gold is related to disc printing, isn't it? So this is just a downloadable for each play game.
Okay, fair enough. So it's not just that.
I would have thought it would be due to the console actually saying, like the main console owner saying you can be on their console. Okay, is that what you meant?
Okay.
Like PlayStation or Microsoft saying, yes, you can put it on the store. It's got to meet certain standards, I assume.
That would make more sense. Cool, let's go with that. Let's assume that.
Let's go with that. Next up, over 250,000 players have been banned for cheating in Overwatch 2 so far.
hell, man.
And that's still probably only a tenth of the cheats.
That's absolutely mental.
Yes, it is insane, isn't it?
Is that worrying that it's getting bigger? Like, isn't this concerning? Like, maybe bigger punishments? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least I think when a game is free to play, like Overwatch 2, it must be easier to ban because, you know, when you ban people, if it's an online game only and they've paid money for it, like, I don't, like, obviously you want people banned for cheating, but if they paid money for something, it's quite... Is there legal problems with that? I don't know. Can you stop someone playing?
It's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? Because, like, Blizzard are really bad at banning people for one. They don't investigate things properly. They just slap bans down all the time. It's a well-known problem in a lot of their games.
Oh, right, okay.
You wonder if it's just that's what they're doing here as well, is just slap banning everyone.
Yeah.
And what's the actual process behind it? And is it even working, or are they just opening a new account immediately afterwards and logging back in?
Yes, and maybe that 250,000 is actually 50,000, but people just have multiple accounts, don't they? Because that's what people do. They have their burner accounts, I suppose, and they're willing for them to get banned. Interestingly, did you know, Eddie, that the original Warzone did not have any anti-cheat at all?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Bloody hell.
Yeah,
that's weird, because that wasn't... I didn't notice too much cheating. Actually, I did notice some cheating, but it wasn't as bad. Like I notice it on more modern games now, or maybe I'm just more aware of it. So maybe
I think you're aware of it. I honestly think when we started playing Warzone, we almost didn't think it was as common as it obviously is. And all of these not all of them. That's a gross exaggeration, but a lot of streamers that got very big during the original Warzone days, they probably were enhancing with cheats and stuff. So, and whether they get away with it now, I don't know.
Should have kept with the most streamers there, Ben. That would have been very controversial.
I felt like that would have been a bit overkill. To me.
Every streamer was performance enhancing. Yes.
It's clearly not true. But anyway, Baldur's Gate 3's game director hasn't completely ruled out DLC for the game. I didn't know it was rumoured to be ruled out, so anyway, there is DLC possibly coming.
It's potentially possible that there's DLC for this game.
If that helps anyone.
Good, okay.
On that, which is, I've not written it down here, but I said to Pete the other day, Cyberpunk is getting a sequel. I didn't know that was confirmed, but yeah, it is actually confirmed that Cyberpunk is getting a sequel, so that's pretty good news.
Yeah. And that didn't make the news.
I didn't know because I just saw it. Wow. I saw it. IGN were talking about. So IGN did an article talking about why there was just one DLC for Cyberpunk, and in it they said that the focus would be on it's going to shift to Cyberpunk 2.
Yeah, this was the funny bit as well, because I kind of assumed it was confirmed ages ago because they did that whole press release about how they have two major franchises that they've been working on continually.
But I thought that went down the pan when everything went Pete Tong. I thought that went down the pan and they would have just ditched this game, but I'm so fucking glad that they haven't. So
I don't know. I reckon they probably had to pay so much for the rights to Cyberpunk as a storyline.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
like, we're ploughing on regardless. The next game can make up for it.
Well, if this DLC goes well, that comes out soon. Then obviously that is almost like a reset. That's a full reset with the 2.0 version coming out, and then the DLC. It really is a full reset for this game. So, I mean,
the
been many
redemption
years,
story
but
has
still.
been strong anyway. So,
that's why I think this DLC could actually be huge.
Yes,
you heard it here first. I reckon this DLC could be one of the highest selling DLCs ever.
Well, Eddie, I think if this DLC is like 20 to 25 hours of content, then I will be then I think absolutely this could be outstanding for this game, because the game has sold fantastically. There's no doubt about it. It's one of the biggest selling games in the last couple of years, right? So
here's the combination of where I'm getting to this theory is it's a very high selling game. A lot of people were disappointed on day one, and they could have done what I did and put it down for a very long time. It's had a fantastic redemption story. It's now at a position where it's actually a very good game. It's even turned around on Steam, isn't it now? Very positive from fuck knows what it used to be. And now with the DLC coming, I think this could be a lot of people's time to pick it back up again.
Well, interestingly, they have a presentation on Thursday, and the version 2.0 of the game is coming out, and it's free prior to this DLC. So possibly on the 14th or 15th of this month, so in a couple of days' time, the version 2.0 of the game could be coming out, and that's when I'll start my That's when I'll start my new playthrough, and then ahead of the DLC.
Yeah, only 2 weeks away from the DLC anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to want to give people time to do a full playthrough.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let's see what happens with that one. Next up, Diablo 4 is going to get annual expansions. They plan to be updating the game for years and years. That was in quotes. It's kind of what you'd expect from this game, but it's just nice that they're saying it, because Diablo 4 has had a bit of a torrid time over the last couple of months. So after releasing really strongly, it's
competition arrived and slowed it all down.
Yeah. Reportedly, the next Mass Effect game will ditch the open world formula for its classic approach. That's from an insider, so it's not quite news, but whatever. There's a new Turtles game. It's in the works. It's based on the film, same animated style. Turtles making comeback. They've also got the Last Ronin game in development as well, so it's cool to see. Did you see that Xbox are releasing credit cards? Anybody see that?
I did not. I find it ridiculous as well. But
yeah, there are credit cards coming. Xbox credit cards. They're starting in the US. Probably they'll branch out after that. But yes, coming very soon in the US.
Do you earn achievements through spending?
It seems a bit perverse,
this
doesn't
is the
it?
end of Kirk now then, isn't it? This is the last we're going to hear of Kirk.
As the debt masses.
As the debt overwhelms him.
And lastly, just a side thing, if you've got a bug on Starfield where you can't shoot a gun anymore, if you're on console, you can go to Sidonia, and if you go to change your appearance at the vendor, it will correct it. You don't have to do anything crazy with your game. You can just do that. And if you're on PC, you can just use a console command. Show looks menu player 2. That's what you have to have in the console command, and then that will fix it, which is an interesting thing, because I think people have been going a bit mental over this bug. So,
yeah, I mean, it would be rather limiting to your progress if you can't shoot a gun anymore.
Well, the fact that this has come out in an article implies that if you save the game and go back in, the bug still remains.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty horrendous, isn't it?
That's a toughie.
So yeah, I think if you do get that, then there are remedies out there. So
excellent.
I like that. That's the quick news.
Just going to one of the towns, but yes, perfect. Mm-hmm. So that brings us on to the main news, and unfortunately we're keeping with a theme because it's Starfield again, in that Starfield has hit 6 million players.
Ooh. Damn.
Yeah, not bad.
It's big, isn't it? It's big.
Not bad numbers, yeah. More than 6 million players have now played Starfield, developer Bethesda has said. That makes this the biggest Bethesda game launch of all time, according to a post on X. Does anyone find that surprising? I kind of don't. That it's
when was the last big one? I mean, Fallout 4 was fucking 8. Oh no, Fallout 76, but that was a fucking clusterfuck. And then before that it was Elder Scrolls. So I guess the only one to compete with is Fallout 4, and that was fucking ages ago. So no, I don't think that's...
That's kind of the thing for me as well. I suppose... I mean, it's interesting, obviously, because this time round, it has had the advantage of being on Game Pass, but the massive disadvantage that it has no PlayStation audience.
Oh, okay, I didn't think about that.
So it's an interesting balance there. And we did hear earlier this week from Phil Spencer that it had exceeded 1 million concurrent players on all platforms.
Yes.
Including those on Steam. And
including PlayStation. Fucking hell. Well done.
On all platforms, Eddie. Yeah, the
wow.
big zero from PlayStation
Switch
was helping. Yes, those two.
The Switch fan base is really keeping it afloat. It is including all the Switch players and PlayStation players. That is true.
Yeah, what I did like as well is it's exceeded 1 million people. Around 250,000 of those are on Steam, daily concurrent users. So does that mean the rest is all on Xbox?
Yeah, you'd assume so.
You would, wouldn't you, right?
Game Pass, PC Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
That is
PC
true.
Game
Yeah,
Pass.
PC Game Pass is probably a big chunk of that as well. Well said, Ben. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to be said that's a big success for them, shortly. Just in terms
6
of
million's monstrous. Like 6 million in any capacity. If you look at some of the biggest games that come out, even first-party games like Last of Us 2 and stuff like that, if you're reaching 6 million players after 1 to 2 weeks of your game coming out, that is absolutely monstrous. But Game Pass is a huge player in that, obviously. People, there will be a large proportion of that audience, you'd think, that would not load it up at all or wouldn't purchase it at all if it were not on Game Pass. But the fact that it is, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this game is 6 million players in a couple of weeks is
massive,
absolutely monstrous.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Well done. Well done, all.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well played.
That's what they were waiting for. Yeah.
Yes, they're just waiting for my congrats. Well, they'll have to wait till what we've been playing for that. Spoilers. I'll move us on to more Embracer news, Embracer Group news. Why does it say Embracer news? That stresses me out. So this is from Eurogamer. In June, Embracer announced a comprehensive restructuring program to help recover from its large spending spree, you're telling me, over recent years, and a 40% drop in share price following a report of a failed major strategic partnership with Savvy Games Group, which is backed by the Saudi government. As part of the restructuring, Saints Row developer, we learned this, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, it was shut down, effective immediately. A new report from Reuters claims that Borderlands developer Gearbox will be one of the next studios Embracer sheds. Embracer is reportedly working with investment banks Goldman Sachs and Arim & Co. to explore the option of a sale, and sources say the company has already received interest from third parties in acquiring Gearbox. Share prices in Embracer Group has since turned positive following the news, which is good. Gearbox Chief Communications Officer Dan Hewitt told staff in an email, the base case is that Gearbox remains a part of Embracer. However, there are many options under consideration, including Gearbox's transfer, taking Gearbox independent, and others. Ultimately, we'll move ahead with whichever path is best for both Gearbox and Embracer. Nothing has been decided yet, but there will be a lot of speculation in the coming weeks. So, I know this sounds like bad news, but at least it's not a Saints Row scenario where it's being shut down immediately. So hopefully there can be a resolution here.
Yeah, definitely. I hear a lot of people online talking about Embracer. I hear it on podcasts as well, people talking about Embracer and saying like it's obvious they really didn't know what they were doing buying all these studios. You know, this is what happens when you go out and you buy all these people. It's like, shut up. Like, how the fuck do you know? Like, these people have a strategy. They have a comprehensive strategy for a critical mass. And if it went badly, or if it didn't go to plan, or something went wrong, shit happens. But let it, they will not have just gone in blind to all this stuff. Like, if they're shutting down studios or getting rid of studios or selling things off or whatever, that's part of their moving strategy. They had a plan. It's not like everyone went in blind here. It's just the people talking about this online. It just pisses me off.
It's probably just salty people who are fans of Volition.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah. But I mean, this studio Gearbox seems to be going on all right. But what if they did Borderlands and stuff? And Borderlands 1 and 2 was good and stuff, and 3 happened.
Three happened.
Tiny Tina's was available for purchase. So yeah, I mean,
didn't Gearbox do Half-Life?
Yes, they did. Yeah. And I think so. None of the people that work at Gearbox then will have been around now doing who did Half-Life. So
I think they also did Aliens Colonial Marines, Ben, which didn't you like? I can't remember.
I did like. I have to check all that shit.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
I like you produce the comments before actually like looking into it. I like that.
They also made Homeworld, which is a really good series. But yeah, never mind.
Gearbox Software,
Duke Nukem?
absolutely. Developed by Gearbox Software.
Do you want
Published by...
Yeah.
Desert Bus VR? Do you want that one in there? That sounds like a Ben kind of name. Ben, how about this? Samba de Amigo. You fucking love
there
that.
you go.
You had
Samba
the
de Amigo.
maracas and all.
Maracas and all. Yeah, it's just I just Embracer get a lot of hate because of the whole consolidation thing, and most people who talk about consolidation being bad and stuff, I mean, obviously competition is good, but a lot of people just bang on the drum of consolidation is bad. Okay.
Yes.
Talk to me some more. No, consolidation's bad. Okay, cool conversation. So I don't know. There's just a lot of hate that Embracer get.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to add, Ben, by the way, they did Remnant as well, you know.
What?
Oh yeah, look, I don't.
Or Remnant 2, anyway. Remnant 2. They did.
Oh yeah, no, I see it on the box. I've got the box right in front of me. It's got Gunfire Games, THQ Nordic, and Gearbox.
You fucking love
Gearbox
that.
Publishing. Are all of these the same company?
I think so. Yes.
Gearbox Software and Gearbox Publishing, are they all the same
Yes.
thing? But anyway,
Yeah, I believe so.
but regardless, they did Tiny Tina's. So.
That's true. That is an insult to everything else. Yeah, fair point.
I mean, that was annoying as fuck. I didn't like that.
I played that.
Ugh, God.
That's your own fault, Ben. Don't bring anyone else down.
Just watching the trailer was too much for me.
Scored a
Yeah,
78.
Abby
on
bought
Metacritic for
that
the
game
record.
actually. Abby bought that game. It wasn't horrendous. It just wasn't good at all.
Scored 78 on Metacritic. It's pretty.
But it's not
I
bad.
have tried all
solid
the,
score.
I've tried all those games, but honestly, I just can't. I like seriousness in games, and Borderlands are not serious.
Yeah, I played Borderlands 1 and 2 through a bit with a friend of mine. I think we played Borderlands 2 for a bit. I don't know. It's like it's just all right. Other people got a lot more out of it.
We went on one of those games conventions. I played Borderlands 3 for like 15 minutes, and I was like, the gunplay's amazing. Like a lot of it's amazing, but it's just stupid. And fair enough. Like they've got their market, and I respect them for that. But yeah, I don't like stupidness. Apart from Kirk, he's alright.
Right, there we go. Okay, so Gearbox is a thing.
Gearbox is still alive. Volition isn't.
Yeah,
Let's move
still
on to the
alive.
rest of the news.
Still alive.
Yes.
Yeah. Volition's not.
Jeez.
Right, I'll move us on.
Thank you.
Right,
Yes,
the Switch.
didn't
The Switch
want
2. Let's talk about the Switch 2. It was demoed at Gamescom, supposedly behind closed doors. But it's on good authority. Eurogamer talked about it. I think VGC also talked about it. So behind closed doors, 2 developers, supposedly Breath of the Wild was shown. And interestingly, The Matrix Awakens, the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo that was on the PS5 and the Series consoles ages ago. I think it might have been late 2001. That was also shown. So that demo, that tech demo, was described as, this is in quotation marks, comparable to the PS5 and Xbox versions. We have no idea for what that word means in that sentence, and it probably just means the same thing was technically shown on the screen.
Right.
So I can only assume, those are the same shapes as would have been on the PS5. But rumor is that we're looking at an 8-inch screen, presumably a hybrid console. The conversation has been largely around RAM.
Okay.
Because it was revealed that it supposedly has 4K capabilities, ray tracing, and NVIDIA DLSS, and probably 3.1 rather than 3.5. I think people have heard that word comparable, and they've gone a bit deep thinking that it might be comparable to one of the next-gen consoles, which it's not going to be because it is... it's Nintendo's console and it's a handheld, yes. But the prevailing theory at the moment is that it could be 12 gigabytes of RAM. And that is in comparison to something like the Series S, which is an 8 and 2 situation, isn't it? So like a 10 equivalent. I think that it would make sense that the Switch 2 would be powerful enough for it to entice third-party developers to put games onto their console. Because at the moment with the Switch, the issue with the Switch at the moment is that is so lagging behind that you cannot get any new games on that thing. And with the Microsoft acquisition of Activision, you would think Call of Duty on the Switch, maybe at launch, would be on the Switch 2 would be a very, very enticing thing that Nintendo would want. And I think if you remember, famously, Capcom actually persuaded the Switch, Nintendo, to up the Switch's RAM to 4 gigabytes from 3 gigabytes before. So they are actually, I think, quite mindful of the fact that they could become out of date pretty quickly. So I could get behind the idea of a higher spec model than we'd initially be thinking, not just like a better tablet. But yeah, people have gone on with the nonsense about this comparable to the series consoles and to the PS5, which I think is nonsense. But tech has improved a hell of a lot since the original Switch, because the chip in the original Switch is from 2015. It's the X1, the Integra X1.
Yes.
When it released in 2017, it was already out of date. So we're talking like 8 years of development right now. Think about what the fucking Steam Deck and the ROG Ally can do. And they are the direct competitors now, don't you think? Like
they really are, yeah.
So there is actually a conversation to be had if you're buying a Switch 2. Now, the Switch 2 is obviously going to be more expensive than the current Switch, so you'd expect it to come in £350, £400, maybe even slightly more, whatever. It's going to have decent specs to be able to compete, because that's why would you buy a Switch 2? So I don't really believe that the tech demo was comparable to those consoles. However, I can get behind the fact that the Switch 2 does need to actually have some specs behind it. I don't know what your thoughts on this are.
No, I mean, it really does, doesn't it? It has to catch up a lot to remain relevant. By the sound of it, all of that does sound very positive, doesn't it? I mean, the fact that it's ahead of the Series S.
If true. Yes,
would be,
big if true.
Yeah, would be a good step, if only in RAM capability. But
yeah,
I mean, the other bit we're talking about there is, do we know if the chip is from this year?
No, it probably won't be, because they would have had to store up in advance, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
So,
especially with still issues at the moment. But yeah,
but let's say they're working with NVIDIA, like specifically, and they've designed something specifically for the Switch and all. These companies, they've been doing R&D on this for a while. This whole generation, they would have been pushing towards this. I think they're at a pivotal point now where they've had the success of the Switch. They really have to capitalize on that, and they have to go, right, there are competing models out there because they created this space. They created this home console handheld space, and that has been jumped in by people who've just now doing it better.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can rely on we're Nintendo, we make quirky games. Okay, well, you're going to die if that's the case. You're not going to, this generation, the generation will just die.
We've been saying that for years, Ben.
Yeah, but they do that. They bounce, as I said before, like they bounce between high-selling consoles and low-selling consoles, and they need to break that trend.
Yeah, that is.
So they need to have something decent, and the last one was just a glorified tablet, so...
I like that you finally admit this, Ben.
Developers did a wonderful thing with that machine, didn't they? They could make things happen. It was like fucking wizardry. So give it some real specs, see what they can do, I think.
I do feel like we're turning it into not quite news again, though, because it's...
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's the thing is, it's the biggest thing that's discussed. Not a lot of news this week, but this is the biggest thing discussed, and it is all hypothetical. You're bang on. You're bang on. Like this is all nonsense. But
it's a finger on the pulse, but the pulse is not authentic.
It's cool to talk about, but it doesn't have a lot of weight.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I feel with that disclaimer out the way, we should probably move on to the new releases, don't you?
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this.
I know, because we are changing it up, and I'm doing the new releases this week, which is frankly horrifying, but there we are. Look forward to some poorly researched and overly harsh feedback.
Do we have to give context, or do we just have to say that? What if people are
sounds
like,
like I've been fired. You know what worried me? So to our listeners, I obviously said I'm not going to be on. I'm super busy, and then when Ben went like, "Could you do Tuesday?" I went, "Look, I will." but can someone else do the new releases? Because
I did offer before you even asked.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's very nice. But I will also say, Pete, what did you say 10 seconds before the podcast? Oh, so Eddie, who's doing the new releases?
No. I said what I actually said was I will do the research for you. Right.
Yeah. So you're going to offer me the research, and then I can still do the whole section.
How did you think that would go down? I will do the research for you. How did you think that was possibly going to go down?
My ideal scenario here is for Eddie to read the blurb and
then read your research,
and then I would do the research after. I would say the research after.
That's so
research
disjointed.
is a very strong term for what I did there. So let's.
So disjointed.
It would have been, but I would have loved it anyway. Especially because I do not want to pronounce the first game, but we're going to do it. So, Noor is coming to PC, PS5, and PS4 on September.
Certainly is.
Are we sure?
It certainly is. Yeah. I mean,
Nour?
you may never. Nour? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, the blurb for this, of course, is an interactive exploration into the aesthetics of food.
Nice and easy one to start the day. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a rough start, honestly. This is a casual simulation game about preparing experimental food done to a dynamic soundtrack. I mean, seriously, fucking hell.
How did this make it into the This isn't a game, is it?
I know.
I honestly, it should have been cut. Frankly, it should have.
I'm surprised you didn't cull it. I think Eddie would have called that.
I think he probably would have done, but I was just so disappointed.
It's so bad. I think you have to keep it in. It's literally just like doing stuff to food. Who plays this?
I know, it just sets the tone. All right, that's what I was using it for. It's a tone setter. Keep your expectations at that level, guys. So we move on to Heretic's Fork, which is coming to PC on September the 13th. Dear candidate, we are pleased to invite you to take up the position of Manager of Hell. You will punish sinners by using our deck-building computer system to construct hellish towers capable of keeping the endless hordes of the underworld in check. Best of luck. This one is a bit more interesting, I will say. It's a deck-building strategy game where you are managing hell and protecting the route back to Earth. From what I can see, it's got some decent writing and a lot of dark humour. I immediately thought that you might like this, Ben.
I like the blurb. I like the premise. I like the deck building. I don't really like the art style, but I would be willing to give it a try if it were cheap as chips. But
yeah, see, I kind of thought it had a bit of Vampire Survivors look to it as well, with the defense of the portal back to Earth and that bit.
Yes, it does have that about it, and that is not necessarily a positive.
Right, okay, I misread that situation.
Yes.
Oh dear. Either way, it does look funny. So
I think that where this falls down massively is the look of it all. I think it looks horrendous. Like there's only two colours in the whole game.
It's very pixely, isn't it?
Very fucking pixely. And even like the UI is unforgivable. Like, no. Wrong. Do it again.
Yeah, wow. Eddie summarised the thoughts there rather brutally. Yeah.
Good. I'm not the one being harshest so far. That's excellent because it gets worse. Next up, we have Super Bomberman R2, which comes to everything on September 13th. The latest title of the party battle game series, Super Bomberman R! ! Sorry, I should have really roared that, shouldn't I? Because it's all in capital letters.
Yes, that's on you. That's on you.
Yeah, that's on me. With new adventures and game modes, it has the largest content volume in the series history, as you'd kind of expect with a sequel. So this is a classic Konami action battle royale. It has 4 different battle modes and a story campaign to play through. And, I mean, Super Bomberman has quite a lot of fans, and we know Konami don't miss.
Who gives a fuck,
though?
Oh, Ben, coming in strong. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Ben. Positivity. Good.
I quite like this. I've played it before, the old Bomberman. I actually quite like it.
Yeah, but you've played... Yeah, exactly. But that's a great point, Eddie. That's the best point. You've played it before.
It does. It is the same again, isn't it? But it has its fans, Ben. It has its fans.
Yeah, a few people might buy this.
Yeah. Sure, they might.
A few... Wow. Okay, good. I'm not the most negative. Cool.
Oof.
I like you've taken it on immediately, guys. Noor really knocked everyone back, didn't it? Okay, yeah. So next up we have Ad Infinitum, which is coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X on September the 14th. When reality is a nightmare, nightmares become real. In this psychological horror game, you fight the terrifying creatures invading your mind. Can you save your sanity? Question is, do you want to when you're playing a German soldier haunted by the Great War?
Oh.
It's an interesting setup for a survival horror, and you are meant to be experiencing a living nightmare. I suspect people are going to enjoy more watching people stream it than actually playing it themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do know exactly what you mean.
It does look pretty good in terms of actual looking nice. But
does it?
We all know I hate survival. Wow, Ben, Jesus, you are bleak today.
Yeah, Ben, come on, I'm the negative one. Good. Pete's like the I don't give a shit one. You're normally the positive one, Ben.
No,
it doesn't look good, though. I don't know what you're looking at.
I think some of the environments look nice.
Right, okay, Pete, you're wrong. But let me give a positive. It's published by Nacon. And they usually only do Tour de France games or Blood Bowl games. So
they're branching out.
Look at that.
Now we're talking.
They're branching. I love it.
Okay, cool.
Embrace your group. Look out.
You're all in. That's what it took. Right. Okay. My God. Okay. Cool. Ben's playing ad infinitum for next week. Perfect.
Well, the Tour de France people branched out to a third game type.
I know. That's pretty I'm so happy. Yeah.
I think they also did Steel Rising. But yeah, fine.
No. Stop it.
Onwards and upwards, guys, to AK Solotl.
Oh.
What a shit name! Like it doesn't deserve anything.
Hey,
like
come
that
on,
is
Ben.
shit. That's wank.
Listen to the premise once I've got through. It's being released on everything on September the 14th. The cutest, deadliest, and only top-down roguelike shooter featuring AK-wielding axolotls. Blast your way through the animal kingdom with an arsenal of kick-ass guns, mighty power-ups, and even raise an army of trigger-happy baby axolotls. I mean, that's where the name comes from, right? Come on now. Come on. So this is
axolotls, aren't they like the little lizard things, right?
Yes, they're
like underwater lizards or some shit.
Sure, they're close enough. Yes,
yeah. I'm looking up. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
You are. They are the creatures you're thinking of.
Yeah, I fucking nailed it. What a daddy.
And for the game, it's a single-player action roguelite where you're a lizard with an AK. It has the graphics of Pokemon. I probably would have cut this if it wasn't called AK Solotl.
It looks like the if South Park Woodland Critters had their own game as a roguelike, this is what it would be.
Wow. Good reference.
That's actually a really good selling point.
I'm going to buy this now, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, none of us are going to play this, right?
No, actually. Terrible looks, terrible colours. No.
If you like a roguelike, yeah, you might like it.
There are better ones.
Probably.
Yeah.
Free demo, though.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, there is a free demo now. But after all of these absolute bangers, we come to the bit where I did minimal research because, dear God, The Crew Motorfest releases on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xboxes on September the 14th. Welcome to Motorfest, the ultimate driving experience. Explore the vibrant open world of the island of Oahu in Hawaii as you compete in intense races, themed events, and much more. Is it an open world if it's a small island? Just like...
I don't know. If it's by, like, you know, if it's to scale, then it probably would be. Yeah.
If it is fully to scale, that's actually not so bad. But it's not really an open world if it's got
an open island
border around the outside. But yeah,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
It has a solid watery border on all sides. But yes, anyway, it's mashed potato. It's a collect and race cars game.
Nice.
Visuals are nice. You know how I feel about these games. Fuck off.
Okay.
I think this looks amazing.
Good for you.
I've already pre-ordered it.
I assume every person who likes racing games and driving games likes all of them. So
yeah, I could see that actually.
We literally know Kirk, and he has said how he only likes some of them, but I love the generalisation. I love it.
It's the only games they play, and they play all of them as they come out.
We got Thomas listening right now. He's going, "You fucking bastards!"
Sorry, guys.
But never mind.
Do feel free to let us know your reaction to that, Thomas. But come on, guys, what were your thoughts on the Crew Motorfest?
It looks nice.
Don't give a shit. Again, yeah, they look nice, but I've said it before, because when you have zero mechanics in a game, then you can afford to make it look good. So,
I think at least they're releasing it a full month before Forza Motorsport. I know they're not the same game, but as we've established, all racing games are exactly the same. So I assume that one will be better than this one.
It gives them a month to play it before the better one comes out. Yeah, I can see that. Excellent.
Maybe.
Right. Perfect. Well, we move on to a massive upgrade, which is Heavy Duty Challenge, coming to PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X on September 14. Drive powerful trucks and explore open world environments. Master your skills and win truck trial championships. Experience off-road driving like never before. Yeah, it's an open world cross-country driving game with 12 unique trucks.
Pete, come on, Pete.
I assume this is the same as the Crew Motorfest because it's a driving game. So
to me, yes.
I assume it's the same.
No,
I think we have a big driving game fan base actually.
I think this looks good. Jesus,
John used to like driving games as well. This is Forza Motorsport as well, isn't it?
What? What are you talking about?
This is Forza Motorsport.
This is just a different version of Motorsport, right?
What?
Yes. No, it's off-road trucking. Go on, Eddie. Finish your sentence.
I don't understand where Ben's coming from. Ben, right, for a start, it's got simulator in the name. It's like the same creators as like Subway Sims and Bus Sims, like City Bus Manager. Do you remember that?
I do. Is it like Mud?
Yes, I was going to say, what's the game that came out, I think, a week or two ago? Oh, shit, wait, didn't we see it on something? And I went,
we did.
Looks amazing.
We saw it yes, Eddie, we did. We saw it at a thing, and it was a sequel to Mud.
Yes.
Though I liked the Arctic one. Ice.
Right, okay.
Runner. Ice Runner. Mud Runner and Ice Runner.
Mud Runner, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that looked
Is that
incredible.
what this is? Oh, is this not a racing game?
I'm glad to hear you looked it up as well, but that's good.
It's got truck trial championships.
Yes, it has got.
That assumes there's racing.
There is racing.
There will be racing, yeah.
It's Forza.
But there's damage and repair systems, there's upgrade and truck reinforcement systems.
To be fair, you don't get damage in GT7, so...
It has the official license of the Euroka Truck Trial League. Jesus. It has that license, Ben. That must be important.
That sounds like something that could be on Eurosport.
Probably is. It's on one of them. Yeah, look, I think you're being a bit harsh on this one. I think this one looks okay.
Okay. It's 12 trucks.
There's 12 trucks, yeah. And to be fair, it is a massive upgrade on what is to follow, guys. Huge, because we have Sugar Shack coming to PC on September the 14th, and this one doesn't even get a blurb. We've reached that point, guys. This is a cutesy maple syrup themed game. That's what I'm going to say. You basically.
I know how much that hurt you to say that, Pete, and that's why I'm so happy right now.
Honestly. Yeah, it's set in like a Quebec-style location, and you rebuild the world in separate hexes around your little cabin, and you serve stuff to customers.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. At least the graphics are fantastic. No, they're terrible as well. I genuinely do not see a draw for this.
Wow.
I don't know who wants to buy... When it's on PC only,
Yes.
I can imagine if this was on Switch or something, you could be like, okay, well, that'll appeal to a certain audience, playing handheld. But who's sitting down at their PC to play Sugar Shack?
I think this is like the cooking and like the house bits of it does remind me of those Facebook games that lots of mums play. Like my mum plays one of them. I mean, I know that's a niche market. I understand that, but yeah.
To be fair, it's from the same publisher as Cat Cafe Manager.
Oh
it
shit! We got a game of the year at a contender. Whoa!
That might be the advantage this one has, but no.
Yeah, and I did look at the publisher's games, and they're all the same kind of cutesy, like casual game, if you will. So I think there's a market there for these.
There is a market, but don't you question like how they get that market to see it? Like, okay, we're talking about Sugar Shack on this podcast, but at no point in my life would I ever come across Sugar Shack, even if I was well into games like Sugar Shack. Like, I don't know how you come across this game. How many copies is it going to sell?
I imagine they follow the publisher and just buy everything from that publisher, because it seems to publish all of these type of games.
Yeah, maybe that.
Maybe
you know
that's
what?
the
You
route.
might be onto something. Maybe like, the kind of casual gamers that play these games just like set alerts for the next publisher game. Yeah, that could be something.
That doesn't sound like a casual gamer thing to set
No,
alerts
yeah.
based on publisher releases.
Yeah, fair.
Eddie sets it up for his mum, and that works, potentially. That could be the
Yes.
way. That is a niche market. It's a niche market for Sugar Shack. But we move forward, guys, to Boaty, Byteland Overclocked, coming to PC on September the 15th.
Boaty?
Boaty, I'm going with that.
You sure not Botty?
Bossy?
Let's
Because he's
go
a
with Boaty.
robot.
He is a robot, I'll give you that.
Bossy.
Yeah, he is a
Boaty?
robot. I don't
Boaty
know.
McBoatface? Is that what it is?
Boaty the robot.
Boaty
You're already putting in more thought to this than I did, Eddie, so you can
enough.
see why I thought you might want to read them out. To be fair, this is a 3D platformer with
Boaty.
high-ish production value, wouldn't you say? Like,
I would, yeah.
it reminds me of the sort of like 2012 versions of Crash Bandicoot and similar stuff.
Yeah.
You started with a compliment and then finished with an insult in one sentence. So
It's a dying breed, the old 3D platformer, isn't it?
It really is, yes. This one does feature co-op play, and it does have a demo on Steam right now.
wow.
Yeah.
I think it's ambitious to expect two people might buy this and want to play together.
Wow, Ben, you were supposed to be the boss.
Ben's had some bad news this week, hasn't he? He's just in a
Ben's in a bad mood. Yeah.
he's in a vulnerable mental state, and he's
You
taking
can't
it out
pick
on
him
these
up.
excellent games.
I have had to work quite hard over these last 2 days,
Oh,
and I've got to
no.
edit this podcast right after
Oh,
this.
right after, yes.
Immediately, instead of
Immediately.
playing more Starfield, he has to go editing.
Absolutely. I know my evening is just eaten up now, talking to you two clowns, and then fucking editing.
And going through this incredibly long list of new releases, of which none have been good yet. Yes, love
Yes,
that.
so
Love
true.
that. Yeah,
Clowns.
fantastic.
Are we revisiting that? Clowns.
We're already there. Okay, so we move on to Gloomhaven, which comes to Switch at long last on September the 18th. It was a very well received tactical RPG that came out like a year or two ago. I think we even talked about it on here because
I think
Yeah,
we did,
21
thought it looked
October.
pretty decent. Yeah.
It's very positive
So-
on Steam.
Exactly, yeah. It looks like a very good game, and it finally reaches Switch.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah,
It's a good kind of Switch game as well, so yeah, nice work here.
indeed. We follow it with Dragon Air Silent Gods for PC on September the 19th. Dragon Air Silent Gods is an open-world high fantasy strategy RPG that takes players on an epic journey and gets the rest of its blurb cut off because it was very repetitive. It's a D&D style tactical RPG. This could actually be half decent, but I suspect it's going to be lost in the shadow of Baldur's Gate 3. Its main thing for me that stood out is you can build your party out of over 200 different heroes, which, let's be honest, is quite a lot bigger than most of these games. The level of depth might suffer for that fact, though.
Pete, what makes something high fantasy? I'm sure you told me this before.
Honestly, it's
High
like the
fantasy.
punk things, Ben, like attacking fantasy on the end. High fantasy is normally set on an Earth-like world, but completely different cultures. Normally.
Right. Okay.
Right, it's like dwarves and elves and shit. Is that
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Right.
And there are dwarves and elves and death knights and all sorts of crazy stuff going on in this one as well, yeah.
I think you made a good point about it maybe being lost in the shadow of Baldur's Gate 3, though. And when you can build your party out of 200 heroes, that I think that's almost... They might put it as a selling point, but it almost implies that the heroes can't be of that.
You're
Like
not going to
depth,
get the same
really?
depth, are you, as you would do for
No.
the companions in something like Baldur's Gate 3. I imagine it means the big focus is on the fighting system for this one.
Yeah.
But again, it's literally like a month after Baldur's Gate 3. It's going to struggle, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're right.
completely agree.
Especially with Baldur's Gate 3 just coming out on PS5 as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sad times for Dragonair. So we have The Lies of P coming afterwards on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xboxes on September the 19th.
It's on Game Pass as well.
It is, yeah. And The Lies of P is a thrilling Souls-like that takes the story of Pinocchio, turns it on its head, and sets it against the darkly elegant backdrop of the Belle Epoque era. So I actually really like the concept behind this one, and the style of it looks pretty cool as well for me. This could be a strong game, or it could be a massive, massive letdown, but at least it's on Game Pass, so we can find that out for free.
Ooh, is it on Game Pass? Oh, I didn't know that. Nice.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. People played the demo, really liked it. I really don't see the appeal of this one. You know, I don't mind a Souls.
Wow, I thought you'd like this because it's like dark and gritty as well.
He's had a bad week, all right?
Come on. Wow.
I don't know. I've never been sold on this, and I don't really have an inclination to play it. But I do think it will score well because people have been really, really into it. Like the demo that came out, people seem to really like it. I
do think it's got an interesting concept, like that reversing the idea of Pinocchio could be very cool. The setting is, I would say it's quite different, but really it's just steampunky. It's Belle Epoque is quite cool, but it's just steampunky. Really.
Is it a bit Bloodborne-esque? Is that what they're going for? Is that like kind of riding that as well?
Definitely looks a bit Bloodborne to me, yes.
Yeah, so this has an audience. The audience is kind of sold on it, I think, already. It's on Game Pass. It'll be played to death. I think it'll do well, but I don't really have an inclination to play it.
That's fair. To be honest, it's one I might dip my toes into, but it's unlikely because it comes out a week before Cyberpunk and 2 weeks after Starfield.
Yep.
Bit of a problem.
Through that.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Unfortunate. And then we come to the big game of the week, which is Mortal Kombat 1. Coming to essentially everything, at least the next-gen consoles, on September the 19th. Discover a reborn Mortal Kombat universe created by the fire god Liu Kang. Mortal Kombat 1 ushers in a new era of the iconic franchise with a new fighting system, game modes, and fatalities. We've seen this a lot. It's by far and away the biggest release this week. If you like Mortal Kombat, it looks like you're going to really like it.
Yeah, I think it from what we've seen, it looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? I mean, if you're into fighting games, then you've got a fucking smorgasbord to pick from, haven't you? And this is the next release, and it looks fucking fantastic. So
it really does.
Yeah. I wish I was into fighting games. I haven't got the patience to get good at all.
Honestly, I don't know what the appeal is to this. I really don't know. I would love to see the price tag. I bet it's fucking enormous. And it's a game like fucking Tekken. I do not understand it.
Yeah, but the appeal, I think, is the skill ceiling is so high, and to test yourself against other people. These games, in my mind, always rely on just having some kind of scalable online ranking system. That's the big appeal, isn't it?
If you're into that, why don't you go to a game with more complexity, like FIFA or Madden or something?
I think you're underselling the complexity of these games. Like the skill ceiling is just unbelievably high. It's just that I've never come anywhere near to doing anything on them. They're just
we've never come anywhere close to the floor in these games.
No, they're so incredibly difficult to get good at.
The mechanical loop is just not one that we go for, is it? So
because it's so repetitive.
Because it must be so boring. Like I've said on this podcast so many times, like I always give up on FIFA because I'm like, you see the same football pitch, hour in, hour out. But here it's even worse. It's even smaller.
It is, but you see the number of people. If you watch like streamers that we all watch, like they can play the same game for 7 hours a day, every single day.
Fair enough.
And they just do it. I mean, we would. Like, that's purgatory to us.
Yeah.
But to them, people do it, man. They go all in on it.
They absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Eddie, you do it with Rocket League, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but I can't last more than 15 minutes playing it. I'll play like 3 or 4 games, and then I'll be like, I'll jump onto my main game.
Fair.
I use it as like my thing. Like I couldn't do that hour in, hour out. Oof.
Yeah, the amount of time, the time commitment to get good at these games is fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, we'll round out the list with one more, which is You Suck at Parking, which has a PS4 and Switch release on September the 19th. This is a casual racing game with really good reviews from a year ago, possibly 2.
Yeah.
The focus being in this is a racing game with the focus on parking. Like, apparently is quite difficult, and it has something like 250 levels to work through.
I think it looks really good. I like.
I really liked it when it came out. I think it was last year. I thought it looked really cool.
Yes, good to see it coming to more things as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, indeed. So
what's your game of the week then, Pete?
Yeah, I know. It's a tricky one because I'd give it to Heretics Fork except for the looks. I'd give it to Gloomhaven except that it was released 2 years ago. So I think it's kind of got to be Mortal Kombat.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I think it kind of has to be.
You're better than that.
I'm sorry, but it has to be.
I respect a man who goes for the big release because Eddie never does that. So.
And it is a sequel.
I would have gone with Heavy Duty Challenge. That would have been mine.
And
for the record.
You disgust me. So,
wow. Okay.
The Forza Motorsport ripoff. Okay.
And with that, we... Good line, great comment. And with that, we move on to the Starfield, what we've been playing section.
Nice.
Nice. It will not change for at least another week because only after that is Cyberpunk here. So,
right, I think we're all really interested in Eddie's thoughts though, because we heard a snippet of yours, Pete, last week because you weren't here. You weren't here, so we need to hear about your thoughts, but we had a snippet. Eddie is a complete blank slate. I don't know if we want to start with you, Pete, because we know how you kind of feel of it, and then move on to Eddie's.
I don't know. I feel like we should jump straight into Eddie, to be honest.
Oh, okay. That's you're going in the main feature then, right? Go on then, Eddie. Hit us with it.
It's really difficult to say my overall arc on this. I've been slammed at work, so I think I've got to really caveat that. Like, don't get me wrong, I've still played fucking loads, probably like 30, 40 hours in a week. But that's only like jumping in between, like quickly doing this, or like I've had my work laptop to the side while I've been doing stuff. Like even my partner said, like on day 2 when she asked me like, "How's it all going?" I went, "Yeah, it's okay," and she went, "I thought you'd been looking forward to this for a year. Maybe just like put it down until you're finished with this presentation on Tuesday." But I've still chucked in the hours, and I'm still enjoying it. I love the atmosphere. I love the gameplay, the gunplay. I don't know what everyone like. I saw a few reviews saying the gunplay was shocking. I don't know what they're talking about. I think it's fine. I think it's good. I've been disappointed quite a bit. Like, I was really disappointed by the WoW moment, like when you came out the mine and it's just like a derelict world. You could tell that was meant to be their WoW moment, but I don't know, they should have done it in so many other ways, because I am impressed by other things, like the way the ships take off and land, like and you can hear the roar of the engines and stuff. I don't know, I feel like they kind of fucked up there, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the game loop. I'm really enjoying the ship stuff. The first time I modded my ship and went onto the ship, I couldn't stop smiling, and I then spent I think I spent about 4 hours modding the ship, looking at every single hub or hab, that's what they're called, and then going onto the ship and looking, and then deciding which one. I didn't decide that night, because it got to like 3 a.m. and I was like, Eddie, you need to go to bed. And then the next day I had a good long think, and then I decided on what my ship. So that's like huge to me. I'm absolutely loving it. I've also just landed on another planet, and I could see that I can get more habs. So that's going to be my tonight. While Ben's hard work editing, I'm going to be doing that. Yes. Same with the gun modding. We all knew I would love that. But that, I guess, takes me over to the skills. Like, I know that a lot of people have got a lot of hate for the skills, the way it's done. Like, you have to achieve certain things. It's not just a matter of leveling up. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this stops people just like slamming loads of skills down and getting to, min-maxing. I also think it's really interesting. Bastard. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Pete. I know you are make an iron dagger for 4 hours while your housemate has to watch you doing it, just so you're better at fucking armory or whatever. But yeah, no, I love it. I love that it's that extra thing to go on the menu and have a look and go like, oh, I need to do these certain things. So next time I'm on that planet, do this, or next time I've got this weapon, do that. I think that's a really, really smart move. I really do. There are like technical bits of this game that I think's brilliant. I think the voice acting's fantastic. I think even like talking to the black guy who signs you up to the Vanguard. Fuck me. Yeah. Like I couldn't believe I was playing a computer game then. Like I thought it was so well done. Obviously,
great mutton chops.
Huh?
He has great mutton chops.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. Very handsome chap as well. It does let itself down with visuals. I know exactly what you and Ben, what you and Kirk were saying last week. Like, I'm walking along and I'm like, this looks great, and then I look like into the horizon and I go, oh shit, that does not look good. That looks like a game of 5 years ago. Like, so I can understand that. The other issue I have, I should say, because. Right, and I should put an underline here. I think I'm really enjoying this game. I think I haven't gotten into it mentally enough yet. And I also recognise that I am going to play this for a couple thousand hours in the future. So please take with what I'm going to say with a grain of salt. But I think the fast travel issues are actually a major problem. I know we discussed this last week where maybe it wouldn't be a problem. It's just the fact that there's no real benefit. Do you know what it is? Because there's so many loading screens between going, for example, to one planet in one system to another planet to another system. Yeah. Because there's so many loading screens, it rewards you by fast traveling. It rewards you because I could go back to the ship, get on the ship, go into space, then fast travel, then land on that planet, then get off the ship. That's 5 or 6 loading screens. But if I press start, press down, press X to take me to the thing, or plan route, then press A, that's one loading screen, and I'm where I need to be. So
I'll interrupt you here just to jump on, because one of my biggest issues with the game so far is crashes on the loading screens. It's actually a significant risk for me. So I would like to do what we've just talked about there. Go, take off, get into space, and then fast travel. But adding the extra loading screens adds a lot more chances for it to crash.
I'll just jump in on the crash issues. This game crashes so much. Like, I've had crashes
have a healthy crash. Yeah, crash balance,
yeah, and I've played on the Series X and on a Series S, and it's almost like when you ask it to do something, which it's almost like you're doing something which is a little bit much, or it's a little bit just off the beaten track, or you've come in a bit too quick to something, and I've pressed start a bit too quick coming out of that script. Oh no.
So often. You press start slightly too fast after coming out of the loading screen.
It's like, no. Oh, fuck. And then you check your thing. Oh, when did it last save? Oh, 6 minutes. There was a bit London Tube about that. They were like, oh, I've lost 6 minutes. My God. yeah, I know.
The one, I suppose...
Actually, that's actually 30 seconds in real life because you weren't just... because you're just doing shit, but...
Yes.
Yeah,
I suppose that's the other bit. The good thing about the additional loading screens is it does auto-save a lot.
Yes, it does, and that is lucky, but it does. This game does. This game is buggy. Like, and I know last week we were saying it wasn't.
It's Bethesda, guys. It's Bethesda.
I know, but as you said, Pete, like I actually had one where I had to wait days to complete a quest that you told me was good. You get a nice weapon at the end of it, and it was bugging out, and I had to wait for like a new patch release, and then I was like, oh, is it going to work now? Oh, it does. Like, and I often am left questioning whether it has bugged out or whether there's something that I have to do differently or something like that. Like, it's just on the side of bugging, a little bit too buggy. But a lot of people aren't saying that.
That said, guys, I had one of my first proper Bethesda bugs the other day, which I really enjoyed. Sometimes when in a gunfight, you shoot someone in the jetpack and they shoot up in the air and explode.
Yes.
But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's very fun, although it can launch their body somewhere. This one just shot up into the air and didn't explode and just continued shooting up into the air just forever. I just watched it disappear into the skybox. It was amazing.
In my on one of my planets, I built an outpost, and they've got these like, I don't know, Tyrannosaurus Rexes. Let's call them that. One came and tried to attack me, so I jumped on my hab and I shot him from there, so I didn't get damaged. The problem is his dead body, half of it fell through the hab. And I've just got his head in the middle of the hab. Like, everyone's walking around working, and I'm doing workshops, and I've just got this fucking huge dinosaur head right in the middle of the thing. It's quite distracting.
Just move the hab. That's the only option you've got.
I'm not moving the hab with all the fucking stuff in it just because there's a fucking dinosaur trying to have a party.
Well, then it's your trophy now.
When you do the shipbuilding and you go like, you settle on it, it's fantastic. You got your new upgraded ship. That's great. You step into your ship. I'm now into the abyss. What's happened here? And then you look down and it says you can exit the ship, and you're like, okay, if I click to get out of the ship now, this game is going to crash. Click.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crashed.
There you go. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is a Bethesda title. We're all enjoying that.
I will let you know, I haven't had any crashes. I have had minimal bugs. I've had the old bugs where, like, the fucking ship door won't open and I've had to reload. So, like, I've had, like, no major bugs. I've probably had to load under 10 times, like, because something's fucked up, like where someone's, like, stuck in a line or something. So
I thought that honestly, from the first 18 odd hours. Like, last week, I swear I said it wasn't very buggy. Yeah, but now I've played 45 hours.
It did take a while for them to kick in.
Okay, yeah, maybe it might be like a memory thing. Right, okay.
It crashed once or twice in the first 18 hours and about 15 times in between 18 and 20 and 45.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, I'd say that's probably right. So I will, just to add on to my comments from last week, I'm probably up to about 60 hours now. And I do find myself making a lot of time just to play this whenever I can. Even if it's 15 minutes, just jump on and do something.
Yeah.
Much like Eddie, the customization side is the bit that really hauls me in.
Yeah.
Like, my main ambition recently has been trying to get to Class C ship available, and then to get the starship design up is my new one, which coincidentally means that starter ship you get is now turning into an unflyable monstrosity, because the gating... You have to attach like 5 unique things for one level, and then 15, and then so on. So I'm just tacking them all onto a ship I'll never fly again, and just going, I don't care. I just don't care. All the parts are cheap. Just throw them all on together, and who gives a damn? Let's just... Because I, unlike Eddie, do not really enjoy the gating. It does make sense. In many ways, it does make it a more sort of realistic thing than having full Daedric gear in Skyrim at level 12.
Have you noticed it's slower paced as well? I just find it I've been playing the shit out of this game, and I can't even mod a fucking weapon the way I want to.
So, Eddie. Oh yeah, sorry, Pete. I'll jump in after you on that one.
I still can't mod weapons, Eddie, and I'm like level 28 or something, just because I've been putting it into starships instead. Right. I can do the very basic ones, but none of the weapon mod skill as yet.
So it's obviously where you focus your attention, because I can weapon mod quite a bit.
You're like 3 out of 4 now, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I can weapon mod quite a bit, but I am with Pete that I think there's almost a hybrid, because I like the fact that things take time and things like that, but what the gating system for me does in this game, in the skills, because you have to put a skill point in something to upgrade a point, and then you can essentially do the challenge, which is like upgrade 5 weapon parts or something, and then that will open up the ability to invest another skill point, blah blah blah, and you want to build that up to like a level 4 in its entirety, but all of that takes like resources to do, and then you have to put that resource into your research. You have to research those things as well, and then to actually do the modding costs more things. It's like at every point and every turn, you think you're at the point where you're going to be able to do the thing you want to do. Yeah. And then there is another hurdle that's put in the way. And it just seems that there's like, ends up being like 10 hurdles to just being able to turn a weapon from full auto to semi-auto.
Yeah, I've got to admit, the research bit is, I think, I don't know how you could do this, but I love the doing certain things to level up, but I do find it annoying that you have to put another research point, and to get that research point, you need to. Is it research point? You need to get the skill point. You need to then level up. You have to put a skill
point in. Yeah, you have to level up the skill to then be allowed to do more research. Now,
but then you need another skill to then level it up to level 2. That's what I'm finding right now.
Yes. So what you're doing, like in my way of thinking of this, is when you did like Skyrim or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. The more you did something, the more it would level up. So like Pete would sit there for 4 hours and make fucking daggers to whatever.
Yeah.
So the more you do it,
but
in this game, it's like it is kind of that, except you have to have experience to get the skill points, which is a gate each time. So therefore, you have to do missions to get experience to be able to do the thing to get the better weapon mod or something. It basically means you have to use up all the missions in the game before you get to use the cool stuff in the game.
Yes.
I know there's New Game Plus and everything. But it's like it's almost perverse that I want to really enjoy doing this one thing. I want to get really good at this one thing so I can use it in the game. No, but I've had to play your fucking game in order to get the thing that I want to use in the game. But actually, I don't want to use it anymore because there's no point because I've done the game.
But I think this is why I like it, because when I get that weapon that I've been seeking the whole time, when I get that skill that I've always wanted, that game is... After about 3 more hours, that game is dead to me. And I feel like this game is stopping me so much getting certain things that I want. And that's quite good. I also like the fact that the gating method is making me do things that I would never, ever do. Like, I don't give a fuck about, I don't know, the fast, jumping thing.
Oh, boost pack, yeah.
No. Like jumping from system to system. Don't give a shit about that. Oh, really? I don't give a shit about cooking. I don't give a shit about the scanner. But I love that you actually have to use these things to level up on them. I think that's brilliant, because I would normally, if this was Skyrim, I wouldn't do it at all, and I would just level it up. It would be...
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're going for a process in something like Skyrim, whereas this is making it more of a It's trying to encourage you to do more of the game to naturally progress these certain things, and there is massive merit in it. And I think the most enjoyment in this game comes from setting your own goals. Like Pete, you're trying to get the maximum in ship engineering and all this kind of stuff. Then you'll move on to spacesuits, and then you'll go on to weapon mods, and you're doing that. I'm focusing on weapon mods, and like. You get the most when you have individual purpose, and I think the thing for this game for me is like the side quests are excellent. I absolutely love the faction quests. I think they are exceptional. I think your own story building and your own stuff that you encounter and do and your own goal setting is a must-have for a game like this. If you don't have your own goals, I think you won't enjoy this game as much as somebody else. I think what really holds it back in my mind, the main quest line is, I think it's a series of basic fetch quests, and I think it's really poorly delivered, and I think the mechanics of the delivery, not the story itself, but the mechanics of the delivery of the main story is one of the worst I've seen in a modern video game for a long time. But it's made up for in the side stuff and everything else in the game, which is fantastic. It's just, it almost feels like the main stuff you kind of have to just get through. It's like, I'm going to do an hour of main quest now.
See, I wonder if it will change, because neither of us are so far through it. No. Like, you're further in the main quest than I am, Ben.
I am at the point where I know pretty much know the whole story.
The premise, yeah, you've got that bit. But it's that bit of, I wonder if the missions from here will change in tone and intensity.
I did hear...
Similar to Mass Effect 2, for instance, where you go around and, I mean, Mass Effect 2 is a wonderful game, but you do spend an awful lot of time just go to a place, recruit guy, bring to ship.
Well, let me jump in here.
That's the mechanic.
Let me jump in here, and this is what I was saying is the biggest flaw of this game is, the problem is, like, with the because it's all fast travel, I think with these boring main quest missions, and I do agree with you there, Ben, I do think it's pretty bad, they wouldn't be boring because you're traveling to a spot. You're coming across loads of people on the way, and it's a journey. But with this fast travel, it's not. I totally agree, Ben. Honestly, the main mission, I was like, I'll do the main missions for a while until there's a lull, and then I'll go and do other things. And I was just fucking pressing start, clicking here, travelling, and it was nonsense. It was so boring.
Eddie, what do you reckon to this idea? I've put this to Pete, and I think you might thinking it might be an agreement. I think that the main story in this game was built at the start of this game and decided upon in this game before the mechanics were really thought about.
Before they had to limit the travel mechanic at the very least.
Yes, because I think the travel, Eddie, you've hit the nail on the head there. For the main story quest, it's just click here, go there, walk into this building, pick up the thing, walk back to the ship, fast travel there. Yeah. Like, that is the whole quest. It is so bad. But as you just said, if it were actually a journey to get the thing, then it wouldn't be like Skyrim or whatever. When you're traveling from wherever to River Run or whatever, like that's a journey in itself, and that is a thing. Well, and there's things that happen on the way. But with this, there isn't. So it is just click, click, done, done. And I think the main quest is built wrong.
Yeah. Do you know what I was really glad with last night? Last night I decided that I wanted to focus on like base building and stuff. And I needed aluminum to our American friends. And what I did, I went from system to system to try and find a planet. And the amount of fun stuff that I came across was Bethesda level. Like every time I teleported to a new system, it would be like a star fight and I helped someone out, or someone tried to come and sell me some insurance or something. And fun stuff happened. But before, when I wasn't doing this and I was just going from A to B, none of that happened. So it lost all the Bethesda magic. I did look this up, and this shows that I don't buy games on day one. Apparently in Skyrim and Fallout, for the hardcore mode, the only mode that I play these games in, actually came a couple of months after release. So I'm thinking, not only, I think it's already set up to have a food and thirst meter, because there's already food and drink in the game, as we know, and it has very little value. There's kind of no point. I just sell all the shit.
That's a good point.
But they might, and I'm praying to God they might introduce you can only fast travel between systems. Everything else has to be, like, you have to get back to your ship. You have to then go into space to be able to travel to the next system. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So forcing you to kind of have that immersion.
Forcing you to have the immersion, Ben, and forcing you to come across these interactions that make Bethesda games so damn good.
Yeah.
It's like they're shooting themselves in the foot by doing this, like the fact that it's so much more sensible right now to fast travel, but it gets rid of all the fun.
You're damn right, and it is the case that this fast travel, I don't know a different way. I don't subscribe to the belief that there is a different way of necessarily doing it on this scale. If you've chosen to have all these planets, all these systems, stuff like that, this is probably the way to do it. It's just that it does get rid of the magic when you just land and then you just travel 200 meters to the building and then do the thing. Like, it does, it gets rid of the sense of discovery of the random stuff.
And how about this? How about fear? Like, I've played Fallout games where I have not saved in a while, and I have, because in hardcore mode you can only save by sleeping, and I'm walking down the street and I think I'm walking into a tough neighbourhood and I can hear shooting and I go, oh fuck shit, I really don't want to get involved in this. I hope I just like talk my way out of it. There's none of that in this game because of this. And it's a real shame at the moment. But I'm not saying it's dead, because I think if they introduce some weird-ass mechanics in hardcore mode, then it could be retrievable.
I think a hardcore mode would definitely be... would definitely be welcomed. I really do think it would. I was saying to Pete that I really like the gunfights, and I just want more of them. I almost want just a mission board of gunfights, which is but not just go to a place like a bounty, just go to a place, murder everyone and kill the bounty. I don't want that. I want more of a procedurally generated dungeon. And
Well,
there might be something like that in the game. There might be.
This is it. I suspect that it is a combination of the Radiant Quest sending you to a place and then what you do in that place. So
your creation of an experience.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last week in the notes I gave you about my most fun bit at that point had been just on a random moon, finding a ridiculously oversized base and then jetpack and axing my way through everyone there.
Yeah.
And just failing to capture their ship because they flew off as I was reaching the landing gear.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. But I did that because of another mission that had taken me there, and I just went on the roam afterwards. And I think you kind of need to do a bit of both to get the best out of it. But
yes, I do, because I think this game works best when it's in full flow, and when you are just going fast travel from place to place to place to place, it is not in full flow. That's at its actual worst, and I think that's the fundamental problem it has with the main quest line. I also think, as a side point, I think you guys probably agree as well, maps in main cities, like why there aren't maps in major cities is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. The fact there's no detailing on the planet maps is a bit ridiculous.
It's
anyway,
weird, isn't it?
That's
it's a weird
extreme.
Decision.
Yes.
It's a time thing, surely. Yes. It's a time thing.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've explored enough again for now, because we will, I think, still be talking about Starfield on and off for the future anyway, guys.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, shall we move on to the feature? Because we're going to mention Starfield there as well.
Let's look forward. Let's look forward.
Let's look at what we're going to be playing. So the end of this year is supposedly stacked. What are we as individuals thinking we're going to be playing, and how are we planning to fit it in? And I suppose, let's be honest, we're all going to be playing more Starfield. Like we all are. That's going to be a big factor. And let's be honest, me and Eddie are probably both going to play a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 as well.
Ooh, yeah.
And to add to that, I suspect both me and Ben will step back into Diablo at some point before the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's another season, is it next month, Ben? I think October 17th.
Yeah, I think there is, yeah.
Yeah, that might be a decent timing for it. Season of Blood, I think that is. I can't remember. But yes, so we know those are going to be fitted in. I, for one, am massively looking forward to all three of those as well, personally, just playing more of all of them. What else have we got here? What else do we think are the key priorities?
There's a lot. There are a lot of games coming out between now and the end of the year. I think everyone mentions it. We've mentioned it. All these kind of big games. I think actually when you actually go through the list of things that you genuinely feel like you need to play, it's actually a very manageable list. But like, there are a lot of games, but there are a lot of games which are like, meh. Okay. So yeah, but Cyberpunk is the big one for me. The DLC. In 2 weeks' time it comes out. 2.0, we mentioned earlier, version of the game is hopefully coming out imminently. We've got that, as I said, that presentation thing or talk or whatever they're doing on the 14th. So on the 26th of September, that DLC comes out, and Starfield for me makes me want to play Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
really,
especially
really.
Neon.
Yes,
really does make you want to play Cyberpunk.
Like, Starfield definitely does some things better than Cyberpunk. It absolutely does, and the customization is wonderful in Starfield. It really is. And when it's in full flow, it's a completely different game. Cyberpunk does a lot of stuff better than Starfield as well, and I think at an individual story level, main story, branching stories, that type of stuff, I think Cyberpunk does that a lot better. And Starfield just makes me want to play Cyberpunk really badly. So I am all in for this 2.0 update and the replay of it. And as a result, I'm all in on the DLC. It's very weird that another game by another developer has got me so wanting to replay somebody else's game, but that's happened, and I am as soon as that's available to play, I will be playing it. I know, Pete, you're very much interested, but you're probably not a day one. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean, let's be honest, we all know any excuse and I'll replay Cyberpunk. I have no problem with that. This is a great excuse, and we both of you also know how much I like the DLC for The Witcher. And obviously that means I've got a lot of faith in Phantom Liberty being an absolute banger and a pretty much its own standalone game on top.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
That's what
I'm
I
really
suspect
hoping
it will be. I think for me, I like to play big releases in one run, so I'll probably play Starfield for quite a bit and then switch. That's the most likely pattern. It won't be like I'll dip in and out of the two.
Yeah, you guys are more of a committed, because I know that. I mean, I've played 45 hours of Starfield. I know I'll probably get to 80 hours or whatever, and I'll just put it down for a bit.
Yeah, well, for me, it's more like I'll probably play it to what I'd consider completion and then be like, okay, cool, put it down for now.
Yeah.
It'll be that, do you want to do a New Game Plus? Yeah, maybe later.
Yeah, exactly. I'll press the New Game Plus button, and then I'll go, and I'm out.
Exactly, yeah. But we also know I'm a min-maxer and a completionist, so it takes me a fair bit longer to get there. So it's likely that I'll come into Phantom Liberty later, but it will probably be the biggest release for me for the rest of this year.
What about you, Eddie? Do you think you'll be playing Starfield, or do you think you'll be dipping other games in whilst playing Starfield?
I don't think the latter. I want to give this game all the respect that I think it deserves. Well, that Bethesda deserve. So I'm solely putting all my focus on this. Like, I'm so happy that right before this game, Tarkov came to a good point where I felt comfortable quitting. And even at RimWorld, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting bored of this, which is perfect, because I wanted to give Starfield everything. And I do. I will not buy another game until I put that controller down with Starfield and go, that's enough. So if you were to tell me, Eddie, when's the next game you're going to buy? It would be impossible to say. It could be in 3 weeks' time, or it could be in 2 months' time. Like, it really varies. Like, it all depends how much this game catches me. So, but having said that, fuck me if I got some games that I need to play before the end of the year. Like, there are some games that I want to play for my own nomination of Game of the Year. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
So obviously I want to play Baldur's Gate 3, as Pete said. I think I'm going to absolutely love it. I love the previous one, so I'm going to give it a hell of a lot more leeway. And by the sounds of it,
it's so good, and I really want to play more than I have done already.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, even without giving it leeway and the respect that I love the last ones, I think I'll still enjoy it. So I think I need to play a lot. And that's another problem. That's another, 500-hour game. So that's what I want to play. I also want to play Jagged Alliance 3. I think I'm going to absolutely love that game, and I think that's definitely going to be in my Game of the Year. Here's another one, and this is quite weird, is Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, I know. It's one of those games that I've loved the look of ever since it's come out, but because it's a Harry Potter game, I don't care about Harry Potter. I've always kind of kept it on the back burner, but it's looking like it's okay price now. So that might be another big one.
I would like you to play that, because then we could talk about it.
There you go.
I did a spoiler cast with Pure Day Gaming on that one.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah. Don't listen to that before you play it, obviously.
Spoilers. Yes.
I've also got, just to wrap it up for me, I've got 3 games on my list that I really want to play, but I do not see me having time for. Far Cry 6. I still haven't played that game. Donnie thinks it's amazing, which I love, because I really do think Far Cry took a dip on 5. But I still really, really want to play it. I want to play Anvil Saga. I love the look of the game, even though it hasn't got great reviews. And I want to play Zero Siva. But it's in early access at the moment, but I still want to play that game, especially if they iron out a few of the problems. So, yeah, that's
the 2D Tarkov, isn't
that's it? The 2D Tarkov, yeah. And Anvil Saga is that little pixelated where you're an anvil, where you're a blacksmith.
Yes, that one. I've played a bit of that one, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so those are the games I want to play. I'm never going to play any of them. I'm probably going to end up playing Starfield for the rest of the fucking year, but hey, we'll find out.
Okay. Well, I'm going down a bit more of the AAA route. I think I provide that kind of coverage here.
Without that, we wouldn't be a podcast, Ben.
Someone's got to do it. I think I'm going to play the new FIFA. I'm going to do it. I never buy FIFA, and I'm going to do it. Well, so EA FC 24 comes out on the 29th of September. I will be buying that. It's I think I'm going to get it on the Switch. It's got the same engine as the main game, and the last time I had FIFA on the Switch, I think, was 2017 or 18, and I absolutely loved it because it's like a pressure-free, like just fucking playing it on the Switch. It's good. I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to be playing that. I have pre-ordered the PlayStation Portal.
Ooh.
I don't know. I told you guys. I don't think I've mentioned it on this podcast, but I pre-ordered the PlayStation Portal. So that comes out the 15th of November. 15th of November. So I need to decide what PlayStation games to play on that. But handheld gaming is the way I go. So it makes sense. 200 quid was a price point I can stomach.
Are you getting the AirPods?
Am I getting the earpods? No, because it's held in your hands, so the wire that comes from the headphones to the portal is perfectly palatable to me.
Lovely. There you go, Kirk.
Okay.
If you're
There
listening.
you go, Kirk. Yeah. So not so big an issue now, Kirk, is it? I am going to buy Spider-Man 2. I think.
You didn't seem happy about it.
Look, we talked about it the other day when we were fucking playing golf, whatever. I don't want it, but I know I'm going to because everyone's gonna be fucking playing it. They're gonna be saying how amazing it is, and then I'm gonna buy it, and it's gonna be exactly like the fucking other ones. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
great, another bullet spongy hit the square button. That's fun. That's like the 20th of October. But before that, I'm gonna play that mashed potato game, Forza Motorsport.
Fantastic. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Pure mashed potatoes. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously for me, the other big release this year is Hollow Knight Silksong. So it's not coming this year. We all know that. So yeah, I wish I was going to be playing that this year. It's going to be 2024. But there are two other games that are of interest for me. None of them are AAA's, Ben. We have Endless Dungeon.
Oh yeah.
This one I'm sort of being careful around until I see a bit more. I really like Endless as a franchise, and I am intrigued by a roguelike in that scenario. But from what I've seen so far, it's just a little bit too glaring, if you know what I mean. It's got the overdone animation and colours type stuff.
Yeah.
That worries me a little bit. And then another one I want to play, but I'm slightly worried by, is Total War Pharaoh, which is coming out in November.
Is that like one of the sub Total Wars?
It's not a saga. It's supposedly a full-size title.
Okay.
But I'm not totally convinced. I really want it to be good. I've wanted historic titles. Things like Troy have kind of worried me, even though that was a saga, technically, I think.
Yes, that was, yeah.
So I'm
free.
just kind of, only if you got it at the right time.
On Epic, yeah.
Yeah, on Epic. So I'm kind of watching.
Shit. Sorry, Pete.
I did actually enjoy it for quite some time, but it
You
was just so
enjoyed
much
it because you
smaller.
realised if you got like fucking 12 chariots, you could beat everything.
Yes,
Just
yes.
steamroll it.
Massively, yeah. 12 chariots, and you could win any fight in the game without really losing a single trick. It was phenomenal. Loved it.
Fuck
Honestly, just rolling around like the biker mice from Mars. It was fantastic. Yeah, so dated reference there, but still. So, yeah, I'm watching both of those games with interest, and I really would like to play them both, but it is a little bit, compared to the absolute bangers we've already got, compared to Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, Diablo, and the coming of Cyberpunk, it's tricky as to whether I'll actually pull the trigger or not.
Well, I'm hoping that Kurt's going to want to play Assassin's Creed Mirage and Alan Wake 2, because I think they're the kind of length of game he might be into. Alan Wake 2 especially, I think, I think he might dive into that.
He certainly might.
Well, I don't think any of us are going to do those. So,
No.
So yeah, I've got one for you, Eddie. We didn't mention it, but I've got one for you. Do you remember a little known game called The Day Before?
Yes, of course.
You
Wasn't it the
remember
most
them.
wishlisted?
It was at one point, yeah, most wishlisted game on Steam. That supposedly is coming out on the 10th of November, and it's rumoured to now be called Day World.
Day World? Sorry, is that what it's called?
Day World. And And I think actually, it had issues before because it was called the same name as a calendar or something like that.
Yeah,
Dayworld is a book series, so I think it's going to have similar issues.
They have to change it again.
And it's not on Steam yet. So
I
it's not
just
back up
typed
on Steam.
Dayworld in and nothing's come up. Damn it!
So I think it's still on the website as the day before, or on its own website as the day before. Supposedly that's coming out. So
I still am not sure it's real. Let's see.
Exactly. Probably not real.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it's real until it's actually in people's hands.
Yeah. But I do recommend, because everyone's saying that this end of the year is so stacked, I do recommend that people actually, if you are worried about like fitting games in, just put it down on a list. It doesn't actually seem so bad.
Yeah, very true. And you will probably find quite a few of them you don't actually want anyway.
Precisely.
Yeah, like I put on this list Sons of the Forest, and then I was like, really, Eddie? Do you really give a fuck about that game? Nah, delete.
I think the same about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that. And I feel that on that bombshell, it's time to wrap up, don't you?
I'll do the socials first, right?
I mean, I assumed you were going to, yes.
So I thought you were just going to go deep into a GG straight away. But
No, I was leaving you room to do so. Do the socials, Ben.
You fuck that up, Ben.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was on me, actually. But anyway, if you want to email us, podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk, and if you want to tweet us, it's @grumpygamerspod. Now you can GG, Pete.
GG.
GG.
That was poor. GG.